Hello everyone, Jarath here. Today we're going to try and get Yaksha's Rush, the Mystic skill, and also the achievement, Buddha's AfterGlow, which means finishing a lost chapter called the Promised Light. So we want to head to the Halo Peak boundary stone and chase the path up the mountain. But a big thing to note before attempting the Promised Light is you need to have two pieces, jade pieces, one from completing the Bodhi campaign and one for completing the Palace Annals. I'll put in the description some links on how to complete them as well. And on top of that, you also need 6,000 exploration points in this area. So let's keep heading up the mountain, chuck a right from here. So what we want to do is climb the tower, right to the top of this tower. You can either use some lightness skills to get up there, or even just take the scaffolding and jump around on the scaffolding from platform to platform. So once we're at the top, we use the yin and yang jade pieces that you get from the Bodhi campaign and the Palace Annals. But once you get here, you have to wait for the Wu hour of the day. So let's go forward in time to the Wu hour, and then you can place the actual jade piece. And from here you'll see a cutscene of Mio Shan entering the tower. And from this point you want to jump down and enter the tower at the bottom floor. So when you head inside this tower, you can see the footprints on the ground with wind sense. You can see the footprints will go right to the wall on the right hand side there, and there'll be a lever, and then the footprints go to that square in the center of the room. So flip the switch, a beam of light will shine down and open the trapdoor. So when you drop down, you'll see a statue in the middle of the room, and it's shining the light that's been reflected onto a wall. You want to try and move that statue facing that icon on this wall here. Don't forget to pick up the Scripture Hall boundary stone. So in order to move this statue, you have to use Meridian's touch to move it either clockwise or anti-clockwise. Just keep in mind there's a few collectibles in this room, and the video will show that. So now we've spun the statue with Meridian's touch. It will open up the doorway. Also take note, there's a collectible just here on the left hand side of this corridor with these Buddha statues. So now we're in a puzzle room in which we need to move these rotating mirrors and shine the light onto another wall on the outside of this platform. And I found it best to start from the last one that should reflect the light. So this one over here needs to shine at that icon over there. So let's make this one face the way it should as the light reaches the end. So using Meridian's touch again with these statues and just to rotate them. Okay, this last one is in the spot we want now, so you can picture the light going onto this next one. Let's move this one to the point where it's reflecting to the other corner. That one over there, to the left. That way, yep. So the light will go over that broken statue that's been toppled over. So turn this one once more. And the next one we only need to do is the one on the left here in the middle. So behind the one that's receiving the reflected light now. So let's turn this one once more. And now the center statue with the mirror. The one that's receiving the light, we'll turn that one twice to the point where it's reflecting on the one behind it that we just turned. And there we go, that's opened up the door to the next stage. So as you crouch down and go through this section, you'll actually fall through the floor. Just here. And now you need to speak to the monk sitting down. Speaking to this monk triggers a fight between 3 automatons or robots or clockwork humanoids, whatever you call them. Now this particular fight is extremely hard if you don't take note of the pop-up window that comes up. So here's the window. It's all about parrying and deflection to deal with damage to these actual automatons. So for this fight, I showed you how hard it is to actually take these guys down, as I'm doing barely any damage. I tried a bit of everything because I must admit I didn't take note of that pop-up window first time around. So as you can see, it's taken a long time to take the health down on these guys if you're attacking them. So the key is not to attack to damage them. You have to parry or deflect. So I'll just fast forward to the end of this fight as I did it the long way around in this video. So, and I'll show you later on what you need to do. If you want to get through the storyline and get the actual skill and complete the promised light, just turn on that parry assist and that will basically topple these guys down pretty damn quickly. So let's do that now and I'll show you. So head to game and then go to your basic settings and then you'll find assist deflection, enable that and then try these guys again. So I'll speed this video up and open up the door to the next section. So when we take down the last automaton, he'll give us the R-hat hall key Just walk straight over to the door that you couldn't open before, and then head through it. So as you open the door and walk through it, you can go to your right from here, and there'll be a chest with another monk in it. The monk won't really have much to say other than saying that there's a flood coming. Now it's time to head through that next hallway, and it's another group of 3 automatons, but one of the automatons has a different skill set, like a jump move that jumps on top of you. So like I mentioned before with the parry assist, now that's turned on, you'll see how easy it is for these guys to die. So just get ready to keep spamming E every now and then, and you'll see how quickly they fall. So one's down and one's almost dead. See, that was pretty quick. So he takes massive damage when he hits you. So if you want to skip through, just turn parry assist on. If you want a challenge, turn it off. Believe me, it takes a lot of time to take these guys down while trying to damage them without parry assist. So head through the door up top of the stairs here. And as you head through the hallway, on your left hand side, there's a point in which you've got to investigate, and basically it asks you to use a manual. The manual is on the body just to your right on the same side of the wall. So just keep going down the hallway, and just this body here. So loot the manual off this guy, and then head back and submit the manual. And by doing so, this just opens up more of an understanding of the law. As we get to the end of this painted hallway, it enters a cutscene, and then you enter a room where it's a giant circular cylinder basically, and you got to get down to the bottom and rotate another mirror to reflect the light again, just to open the final door to Yaksha. So when you get here, you can go left for the hero's tomb to refresh your pots and health, but you got to go right down here, and there's a couple of chests on the way. At this point, just jump onto the palm underneath, and then jump again. You'll see a collapsed passageway, which you can crawl underneath the collapsed pillars. And there is a manual in here that you can pick up. So keep moving around, and you'll come across another chest that is on Buddha's palm. And jump down, loot it. And spin on the spot, you'll be able to see your next way down is a platform underneath, a wooden platform. Jump down here. Keep going around. There's the odd little cavity here and there where with the signpost telling people to jump. Obviously don't jump. And just scoot across the ropes now. And as you can see in the bottom of the screen, there's another small chest there. So we're going to show you how to get to that. Down some more rope. You can probably get the chest from jumping from here or halfway along the next rope and then jump down onto the other rope, which is what I did. So turn around halfway and jump down. Here we go, loot that chest. Now the more you go down from this point onwards, the cave is going to start collapsing in. And it becomes a quick time event basically with some shadow steps required here and there. So let's move on. So now that we've looted the chest, let's head back up the rope and jump down from the platform on the other side. As you can see just over here, you can jump down. So now we're on the other platform, turn right and just jump down here. I'm guessing a lot of people have missed that platform. And here starts the quick time event where the cave starts collapsing in. So get ready, ladies and gents, run. So part of the platform drops and just shadow jump. And once you jump down to here and go on along this platform, it will fall apart. Shadow step again and cutscene. The cave stops collapsing in and you can head down in your own leisure. Now you can see that there's that light beaming down onto a reflective mirror. And that's where we want to be. But before we do that, let's get another chest. So on the other side of this area. I found when you jump down and go right, there's nothing. But if you go left, there's that one chest. So from here I turned around and went the other way. So keep going around, you'll see where it is with wind sense. There it is. So let's jump from this part down one. Now it's time to head down and move that mirror. So when you drop down, don't forget there's a boundary stone, 1000 Buddha cavern, and use Meridian's touch again and just move this mirror facing the other way. I hope you found this video helpful so far. please don't forget to support the channel by just sending a like and subscribe, and even share with a friend that's going to attempt the same lost chapter. Now, as we head through the hallway, left and right, you'll see a lot of loot that you can't loot. And this is the boss fight between you and Mio-shan, which is 3 rounds. So he's got 3 health bars, and he changes his style and his weapons. Okay, as we get closer to the center, you'll see a guy kneeling down. This is Mio-shan, the boss fight. I must say I do like the chamber in which he sits in. So let's start the fight. One thing to remember is that there'll be 3 health bars to this guy. So this first phase, he'll be using his staff. I found with this first phase, he's pretty easy to beat. One thing to keep an eye on though is when he starts spinning his staff around and it starts glowing, and he raises it in the air like this, that's when you've got to use Meridian's touch. Otherwise, he takes a massive chunk out of your health. Also, remember, take the time to do enough damage to him while he's vulnerable. So get as many hits on him as possible before hitting F if you're on PC. So Meridian's touch again, and it knocks him flat on his bum. So that's the first phase pretty much done. And then a small cutscene. And phase 2, his weapon breaks and then drops his remaining part of his weapon down and takes you on with just fists. Watch out for this frontal cone attack, so just dodge left or right when he uses it. Now at this point you can shoot arrows at him, but at the same time you've got to wait for this attack here and dodge, because it hits hard. Like that as well, and there's a second one that comes after it. So just remember there's 2 attacks within that part of the fight. Now phase 2 is finished. It's time for phase 3. Here he takes off his cloak and removes his mask and becomes Tianyin. And what he does here is he starts using daggers and it moves more like an assassin. This part of the fight is a lot harder. So from this point onwards, he will dart around a lot quicker and teleport and hit you from behind, and you got to keep hitting him just to the point where you're able to get a pot in if needed. And if you got him vulnerable as well and you're low health, why not take the time to pot here as well. Every now and then he'll jump into the sky and summon 3 shadows made of sand that attack you at the same time. And most of the time you won't be able to see him during the fight with these shadows. I found it better to use something like the rope dart, as it does a bit more of an AoE, as you won't be able to see him for 90% of the fight while these shadows exist. In this case, the frog wins. Now with Tianyin down, it's time for another cutscene depicting his downfall, and then we move on to the rest of the finale of the chapter, and you pick up the mystic skill that we've been chasing all along. Yaksha Rush. At this point, the whole statue falls on top of him and breaks open the floor, and you both fall into some underwater cavern. He drowns, and then you got to swim out. And as you swim out, you haven't got far to travel underwater. There's no timer or anything like that for drowning. Head out, and then you'll go to a cutscene. And you'll be prompted to go to a small little island called the Floral Expanse. Just follow the quest marker just in front here, and that pretty much concludes the actual lost chapter. From there you'll actually get the skill straight away, Yaksha Rush. Thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you in another video. That's all from Jarath. Bye.